What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, listen. I heard a story that just broke about an hour ago. It's something you got to see to believe. It's about this man right here. This is 26-year-old Victor Guzman. And this story is taking place out here where I'm at, Houston, Texas. Shout out Houston. And this guy, who is currently an inmate in jail, had plans of bringing a 9-inch shank into the courtroom to kill the prosecutor working on his case. I swear to God, that's what it says right here. That is crazy. Now, we just did a story a while ago, a couple weeks ago, about a young man out there in Vegas that jumped over the bench and tore the judge a new one. I told you in that video it's going to be a lot of copycat type crimes. Inmates watch the news too. This right here might be proof of that. This dude was about to go all out until his efforts was thwarted from somebody telling on him. You don't believe me? Check out the video.
Today, a convicted Harris County Jail inmate back in court.
He's accused of possessing a makeshift knife and devising a plan to stab and kill a prosecutor in a courtroom. Michelle Choi has that story.
We're told that weapon was a 9-inch long shank made out of steel. Fortunately, prosecutors say they were able to learn about the alleged plan and located that weapon before anything happened. The close call, however, shaking fellow prosecutors with the Harris County DA's office.
It is concerning that someone can have a device of this measure, concoct a plan, acquire this object, and try and make measures to execute that plan.
On Thursday, 26-year-old Victor Guzman faced a judge under heavy security after the state filed a motion to restrict his jail privileges. The orders include restricting him to the Harris County Jail, limiting his visitation, which will now be supervised, no incoming or outgoing calls, and prohibiting him from having any contact with other inmates. He's also no longer allowed to purchase items from commissary.
The state brought this motion because Victor Guzman has demonstrated that not only is he a continued threat to society, but he's also a continued threat to the courtroom staff. He's a continued threat to the detention officers that are charged with the duty of keeping the inmates safe, and he's a continued threat to his fellow inmates.
Guzman's been held at the county jail since October of 2022 after a jury found him guilty of aggravated robbery, and he was sentenced to 20 years in prison. But because he's awaiting trial on 4 additional cases against him, he wasn't transferred to state prison. His newest charge now includes having a prohibited item in a correctional facility. Prosecutors say earlier this month this steel shank was found on Guzman. They believe his intention was to use the weapon to stab and kill a prosecutor assigned to the pending cases and who also represented the state in Guzman's prior trial in a courtroom. We're told it's still unclear how he came into possession of it.
And all I can say is thank goodness the Sheriff's Department was able to capture that item prior to it getting here.
Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
All right, guys, that's the story of one Victor Guzman, locked up in Harris County Jail. Been there for a couple of years now and already sentenced to 20 years from a prior sentence. And he got more sentencing to go where he's waiting for trial with this prosecutor that he supposedly, they say, he was plotting to kill. Now, in case you don't know what that piece of iron is up there, they said it was a shank. I ain't really no shank. It's a piece of chain link fence. If you look at it real close, you'll see the part of it is bent at the end with tape around it for him to put his handle on it. And that long piece is just part of the chain link fence unraveled. It can do significant damage to you. You see that a lot of times in penitentiaries and prisons around the world. That's a normal weapon. Now, evidently somebody told on him. Because when you looked at the picture up here, you see his cell. It must have been in the cell. You see he's in the cell with that black glove holding it. But regardless of that, that's a stupid idea. You're already sentenced to 20 years. You done threw your life away. You're vengeful. If everything that they say is true, they putting 2 and 2 together saying you tried to go in there and your plan was to kill this prosecutor in a court. I don't know if it's because of revenge for being sent up the river or it's just to get them off your case. The bottom line is this: killing somebody ain't got nothing to do with your paperwork. It don't. The crimes are still there. They're still on paper. They're still in a database somewhere. They'll just get another prosecutor to come up and take the place. And then you really be screwed. I don't understand the thinking of some people, how they just go barbaric mode when they feel as though they've been unjustly done in a position where you shouldn't be in the first place. All in all, this whole thing, in my opinion, I honestly, don't know how they came up with the idea of saying that he planned on killing the prosecutor unless they got something over the phone, because they cutting all contact with people. So they must have got some good information that was believable for them to isolate him like that. And that's just my opinion, because normally, in a case like this, where you're already sentenced, the man been locked up a couple of years. I'm sure he's already institutionalized. I'm sure he has enough sense to know that if you kill the prosecutor, your case still gonna go on. They're gonna get somebody else. So, either I can't believe he's that dumb. Maybe, but he in Harris County Jail. People die in there all the time. I was in Harris County Jail temporarily, but I was there. There's some unsavory characters in there, and you get all types. The worst of the worst is in there, on their way to the penitentiary, and some of them don't even make it. It's a rough spot. People got weapons in there. So that's what my biggest thing is. How do you connect that with him killing the prosecutor unless he wrote that on a kite to another inmate and somebody turned it over to you and told? Because I don't see nobody on the outside saying, hey, he's planning on, it might be, but I don't see this guy being in jail that long and knowing the game to speak on a recorded line or say something that would incriminate him like that after getting 20 years. Because listen, if you get 20 years, it's all over anyway. You know what I'm saying? Whatever else you get, come on. That's just my opinion on it. They stopped it, saved somebody's life. I don't know what to believe with this, but that's crazy. Just having that whole thing just come out like that. And think about this. What if it's not true? Now it's out in the media. They're charging you over this anyway. They got to have some damning evidence for them to even bring this to the media and put this out. Just something to think about. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.